Hey everybody, welcome to a very special video. Today we're going to be painting this Orlock ganger. I get a little bit below V80 in here, so don't feel bad about skipping around. But this is just a rough and ready technique and way I've been doing it, where I've been doing almost all of them just slightly different. Hey, okay guys, we're going to start out with doing some flesh. Now you might notice his face has already been taken care of. This is Barbarian Flesh by Army Painter. I think their newer version is Agate Flesh, but you could use a bunch of other ones. You could use some darker, some lighter. I'm just keeping that in keeping with what we've already done. If you make a little bit of a mess, it's not a problem. Never worry about if you have the exact paint, as long as you got something within the tone you're looking for and you're comfortable with using, or just happen to like. You can always experiment, but this paint is it's an older Army painter, so it's going to require a couple coats. As you can see, it's a little thin. We'll be a little heavier on it, but we'll go ahead and get that. And he has fingerless gloves, so we'll go ahead and just whoop right on those fingers, right in there too, and that thumb. And once we get a couple coats, we will be right back. Alright guys, here we are. We've gotten done with the Barbarian Flesh, and we've taken Elven Flesh, and we've hit up the nose, the chin, the ears, at least the tops of them. And of course, we did a little bit on the top here. What I did was I went over it with the brush, and what was still semi-white, I took my thumb and just swoop and took the extra off, just to keep it from kind of making a mottled thing. Again, we're just highlighting the guy's top of his head. Doesn't have to be perfect. We also hit the tip of the fingers to bring them out a little bit. And we'll be moving on to the next innermost element. That'll be his shirt right here. From Army Painter, called Spaceship Exterior. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dropping that on, of course, the sleeves, like here. And it's going to be a kind of whitish gray, kind of a linen color in a way. And we're going to get that, and we're going to be getting that on the, let's make sure that's in focus, interior here. And this is going to serve as kind of an offset, because we're going to be using a red on this and a green on the jacket there. So we're going to go ahead and smosh that on there, and be right back. Okay guys, we're going to be, now that we got this spaceship white on this there, get a kind of a cotton white t-shirt, maybe a long sleeve shirt, something similar to what I'd seen a lot of family members who were more into the biking scene than me. What we're going to do is we're going to hit up the band holding his goggles on, and we're going to add a little bit of color, which we'll be using, oh, sorry about that camera again, which we'll be using again. This will be flat red from Vallejo. You can use pretty much any kind of intermediate red you want, but what we're going to do is, try to make sure I keep it in this, the focus. We're going to hit the bandana here, and you want to be careful. You don't want to get too crazy on it. We're going to hit that up. It might take one, might take two coats, but just stay vigilant. And of course, we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we got the white on there. We've got his headband in the red. Now we're going to get his pants real quick. Now we're going to use this kind of bluish, gray bluish, whatever you want to call it, uniform Luftwaffe World War II. It's a 7816 from Vallejo. You can use a dark bluey gray color, pretty much any of them. This, once you hit it with a little bit of brushing, sorry about hitting the camera again, will look a lot like jeans, oddly enough. So that's what I went with them, because I wanted them to have a bit of a jean look to them. So we're just going to come in here, and we're going to hit these areas up. You have to be too precious about some of the stuff. We're going to be painting that later anyways. We will avoid getting the loincloth as much as possible as we hit this up. But we're just going to get these pants painted up, and then alright, we got that handled. You can see the pants there. So it comes off as a very dark blue-gray. But what we're going to do is we're hitting up these leather bits, like the boots, these side packs they got. And we're going to be using a Reaper Miniatures color called Chestnut Brown 09071. And we're just going to hit up all the parts we want to be leather. Now, you don't want to go overboard on it, but you want to get like the side pack here. Now, it's a nice reddy brown, which is really, really nice. I find it fairly pleasant, but it is very thin. At least the one I have is. Go ahead and hit that up. Get the little strap there. And of course, we'll be hitting the boots up. And we'll be right back. Okay, so we got that on there. We put it on the boots, the belt, here and here. And of course the side pack. And any little extra strap you might see. It's a really nice color. But we're going to move on to using military green, again from Reaper, and that's going to go on the vest here. Now, this paint individually has been a bit of a bugbear for me, because it's been very thin, but that could just be the individual bottle I have. And we're just going to be hitting up the vest right there with that color, and we'll be right back with the next step. Okay, we're going to do one more bit with the vest here. We got the dark army green, or our military green in there. You could use a Vallejo color, Verde, or US dark green if you preferred, but today we're going to use Highland Moss. Now, I'm talking about this as a base for this, but we're going to want a kind of muted, lighter green. And we're just going to get a little bit of that on the brush, make sure it's nice and tight. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the ridges in the back here, make sure we got this on screen, and just hit those bits up. We want to, bring it up a little bit. You don't have to be perfect, because we can always come back in and take care of those bits that get covered up a little too much. You can always drag it back down, and that's just painting in some of the things. But we're going to get some of those areas. We're going to be a little sloppy as we do that. It doesn't matter too much, because this is a bit of a fabric, and we're going to catch those edges as well, just to bring out the detail, and we'll fix up anything that we get from me being messy. Let's get a look. Okay, we finished that up. We got the red on the bandana. We got the letter done here for the most part at this point. What we're going to do is we're going to work on this loincloth he's got here. We're going to use some Serif red. And we're just going to use this as a base color. Now, if you're new to painting red or things like yellow, they can be a bit iffy depending on the paint, or at least they were in the past. In this case, I'm using this as a base coat. You'll see in just a second. And we're just going to base coat the whole thing. There might be a little bit of cleanup, because sometimes you'll have a little spillage. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just work in one section at a time, especially since this is just one thing. But you just want to get it done in little bits. If you need to get more, just go grab some more. There you go. And then come back and keep going. We're going to use some basalt gray. Now, basalt gray is a nice color. It's from Vallejo. It's their model color. This is one of the older bottles that they have. We're just gonna mess up really as much as possible. So we're just gonna grab that, bring it over here. And the basalt gray, we're just using on our gloves here. I think it's a nice color. I wanted to use it on something, and honestly, it does do a good job of looking like workman gloves. If you worked in a few different places, they tend to favor kind of a gray. Now there are metal spits over the gauntlets here, which you can go with a metallic if you want. It just depends on what you're looking for. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm just having it be the same color as the rest of the glove. When we do a little bit of highlighting, we'll be hitting that up as well. So no worries there. So just hit the gloves up. If you're doing it as the fingerless, be mindful of where the fingers are here. Just be careful around that. But beyond that, just base coat the items you want to be in this kind of moderate gray, I believe is a way to put it. And we will be right back. I'm going to use natural steel from Vallejo because I kind of like the way it looks in comparison to some things, but there are a lot of options. You could go with a dark metallic, you could go with a lot of other things. The one thing I will caution you once you get into the metallics is make sure you clean your water out and your brushes if you have to move on to, like, for example, you come back to do the rest of the coats. Right now, we're just hitting up all of the base coats. So that's going to get his revolver or stubber revolvers. I believe that's what they're called. I'm probably calling them the wrong thing, but that's what I'm going to call them. We're going to get the revolvers here in this color, and just be careful. We're going to use the tip of the brush here to get as close as we are willing to, and move on from there. So we'll just go ahead and hit that up, and we'll hit up these pads on the legs. Why not? You could do these in other colors. I'm going to just do them in a metallic here. We're going to save this, and we'll hit up some of these other bits, like the stubs right here on this. We'll go ahead and get those. Make sure I got them on camera. And of course, the tool he has back here, and some of these metal rings. And we'll be right back once we have that. Just, of course, like I said, take your time, use the brush to your advantage, and just get things done without too much worry. Use the tip, especially if it has a decent enough tip. This has got a bit of a round one, just to get those areas done real quick. And like I said, be patient, take your time, don't force or rush things. You'll get there, no worries. Okay, we'll be back once we got that done. Okay, so we've gotten the metal on, or we've taken care of the metal in a number of different places. We added to the bottoms of the little side pack here, and the little leg guards, all of that, including the bandolier, or the strap for his side pack. What we're going to do is we're going to take another paint, gunmetal gray from Vallejo, model color, and we're going to hit a couple small places up with it. Now this is a very, very dark blackish metallic. Oop, let me fix this problem real quick. And we're just going to drop it on the whole pauldron here. And, you know, is Games Workshop going to sue Necromunda for using the term pauldron when they thought they owned it? I don't know. Little chapter house joke for everybody. But we're going to hit that up there. And this is an interesting, very, very dark metal, as you can probably tell from just here. It is a really dark metal. We're going to try just putting it on the whole pauldron in this case. Sometimes a little bit of dark on the lights help the model. And we're just going to put that here. We're going to blurb it on this little back part here. And we'll come back and see how that looks. So let's go ahead and look at these shoulder pads. Now that is very, very dark against the kind of moss green we got there, a dark army. What we're going to do is we're going to just take a little bit of that natural steel, and we're going to go and just hit up some of these raised spots on the shoulder pad there. Let's move that a little bit better, and the shot, and we're just going to hit those up, get them a little bit highlighted. We're going to drag that up just a tiny bit. Now, it's different on this side because the metallic bits are going this way and they were going at a circular bit there. So we're just going to turn the model, brace it a little bit, and we're going to come with the side of that brush and just catch each one in turn. It might be a little bit harder. See, if you get a little bit spillage, that's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit up the metallics with Gravelord Gray. Now, it's a speed paint. You could use something like Bacillum Gray or gray wash if you wanted, or, you know, oils and blah, blah, blah. All those other fun things you could use. But what we're going to do is we're just going to splosh that over all the metallics. Now, again, just like any shade, you want to watch out for spots where it gets in a little too much. Move it around, make sure that we get that contrast in there. And this will work pretty well, especially if you like your metal to look a little bit more grungy. That's fine with me. You could use something like Rattling Grime if you really want to make it look dirty. If you don't want to buy GW paint, a good alternative would be Mummified Filth or Grime from Army Painter, which has a lot of the same elements to it. But again, try things out, see what you like. What I would do is just have like a little test thing there. I'd see if I got it and see if I like the outcome. Just maybe paint a random thing in a metallic and then throw that on it. See if you like the colors. You know, experiment and all that other fun stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and just completely bucket that on this. We want any and all of that contrast that this is going to give us. It'll look very nice. I've used it on metallics before, and honestly, it has a nice finish, especially if you looked at my Fafnir video. I'm gonna come over here, schwonk, and look at that detail. That just takes it right away. And the one good thing is this doesn't tend to move around as much. It does flow. It does have some capillary action to it, but it's not so much that you can't control it, if you get my gist. Come in, go around the edges. Now, I do like using this method because you get a lot of control. And I tend to like to have a lot of control. And we're going to use it on, of course, these shins. Hopefully I'm keeping that in focus. We're going to hit these shins up, shazam. That's going to add a ton of, well, contrast right there. And try to turn this in a way where you can at least see what I'm doing. And go right in there. Get some of that outside. And we're almost done. And we'll be right back after we let that dry. Okay, so we hit all that up with the Gravelord Gray. Now you can thin it down. We're going to use a toothpick to point. Thin it down to get a bit of a less extreme or kind of toning down. You can see it's very dull. It's made it a lot more dull than it was before. Now some of this I didn't hit up like around here because we're going to be doing another shading there, so it'd be easier just to hit something and let something else do it. But it does bring it shifts it down. So what we're going to do to bring it up a little bit is I'm going to take this spent brush I have. I use it as a small dry brush. We're going to get some of that in there, and we're just going to whoop. And we're going to go over some of this just to bring it up a tad. Just to tone it up a little bit. Just for the eye more than anything. We'll get the ends here. And yeah, you want to keep some of that kind of dirt and grimish kind of look. Because metallics tend to get dirty in a different way. Okay, so with all that done, we're going to use a little bit of Cadre Gray to give a quick dry brush over a lot of the fabrics and some of the other elements. Kind of a unifying thing I found with humanoid kind of models. So we're just going to be going through, and we're going to just hit up a lot of it. It'll help pick up a little bit more of the detail. In some cases, you might want to come back in and hit things up. But we're just going to be real careful. We're going to hit up some of the gloves, because why not? It'll bring out some of the detail on them, as you can see there. And, of course, establish a bit of a worn look. Now, why would you want to come in and dry brush any of this? Well, you can, of course, do a highlight. I generally am not much for highlighting in the style of Games Workshop. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Flesh Wash and we're going to mix it with a little bit of contrast medium. Now, the amount that you might want to go completely varies. We're trying to go for a consistency that will stick where we want it to be, but won't blast everything out of existence. What we want taken care of, and of course, let that dry. Oh, let's get that bottom lip. Bam. Shazam. So, we'll let that dry, and okay, after that bit of a wibbling from the last section, we're going to be hitting up this man's mustache. And we'll be using Auburn Shadow and some Carrot Top to highlight it. Now, it's about the only bit of hair on this guy, and I'm going to do my best to make sure I have it on screen as I try very, very hard not to overdo it. So we're just going to tap it on there, and we'll come right back after we have those two things done. Okay guys, we went ahead and added a little bit of brass to the belt, and after getting everything else done, it's time to shade the rest of the model. So we're going to use this kind of brownish gray mix that has a little bit of Reichland flesh shade, which I had a massive problem seeing earlier, and we're going to hit up the rest of the model. Now this is going to do one really important thing. Now this has a lot of contrast medium in it, so I tend to not have to worry too much, but it will do a very important task for us. It will settle down some of the dry brushing we did, and it will help bring things into a little bit of unity. Okay guys, with a little bit of that barbarian flesh brought on to clean up around the top of the head, and of course to dot the nose and the cheek after shading, bring up a little bit more of that attention with those bright spots. We have got to this point with the model. Perfect? No. But he is a under-hive ganger, and we kind of expect him to, be a little bit rough and ready. So hopefully that wasn't too much of me bloviating, and let me know what you guys think, or what you think I should try out next. Until then, bye-bye.